Hello students, how are you? My name is Dr. Jyoti Singh and today I am going to discuss with you the circulatory system. So, the word circulatory system itself is denoting something, that is, something is circulating or something is moving in the circular form or the repeating form. So, what is that component which is repeating or circulating in the body? That component is known as blood. Okay, so we are going to study in this video the circulatory system, or you can call it the vascular system, or you can call it the cardiovascular system. Okay, so what is the significance of circulatory system? Because circulatory system has a component known as blood, and in the blood all the nutrients, all the hormones and all the waste materials are dissolved in the blood and is transported to each and every cell of the body. Basically, the circulatory system consists of three components, that is the blood vessels, heart and the blood. And in the blood vessels, we have three types of blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. So arteries carries the oxygenated blood, veins carry the deoxygenated blood, and capillaries are very minute veins or the very minute vessels which reaches each and every part of the cell. And heart, second component is the heart, and heart is a pumping organ. It pumps the blood because our body is so large, and just by diffusion or just by the normal flow we cannot ensure that blood is reaching each and every part of the cell. So blood needs a pumping organ, and heart is the pumping organ which ensures that blood reaches each and every part of the cell. And the component blood, it is very important because it is the component which carries all the nutrient to each and every part of the cell, and blood has also something it dissolve in it so that it can perform its function efficiently. So moving on, if we see the blood, so blood has four components. Okay, so one is the plasma, which is the liquid portion of the blood. Second one is the red blood cells, which carries the oxygen in the combined form with the help of a molecule known as hemoglobin. And the third component is the white blood cells and platelets. So we are going to see in detail one by one the significance of each component of the blood. So the first component is the plasma, and it is identified as the liquid part of the blood and is responsible for transporting all the nutrients, vitamins, hormones in it in the dissolved form. And the second component is white blood cells, which we know is responsible for immunity of our body, because each and every time we encounter some bacteria, virus, fungi and in the environment, so this white blood cell which is dissolved in the blood reaches each and every part of the cell and provide us the immunity. Okay, so here is a diagram. You can see the white blood cells. We also call it leukocyte because it has no specific color. That is why it is known as leukocyte. And the other component is red blood cells. It carries the oxygen dissolved in it, and red blood cell is also known as erythrocyte. And due to the presence of hemoglobin, hemoglobin is a protein which combines oxygen in it, and through hemoglobin combination of oxygen, red blood cells carry oxygen to each and every part of the cell. Okay, now another component, that is the platelet, and platelets are very important for maintenance of homeostasis of the body as well as a major player in blood clotting. Okay, now we have discussed the blood. Now coming to the pumping organ, which is very important aspect of the cardiovascular system, the heart. So heart is the pumping organ for the blood, and it ensures that blood reaches each and every part of the cell at a specific rate or at a specific speed. So heart, which is a muscular organ, and it is located in the chest cavity. As you can see in the diagram, it is located in the chest cavity and it is slightly tilted towards the left side. That is why many people say that heart is situated at the left side of the body, but it is slightly tilted towards the left side of the body. So, and its purpose is to pump the blood to all parts of the body. And when we come into detail the structure of the heart, we can basically or roughly divide into two parts, that is the right portion and the left portion of the heart. Okay, so heart can be divided into two portions, left side and the right side. And further, when we go on dividing the heart again and again, then we can divide into basically four chambers. Okay, so the right one we can divide into upper chamber and the lower chamber. Upper chamber is known as atrium, and we can it is of the right side, then we can call it as the right atrium. Okay, and if the atrium is present on the left side, we can divide it into the left atrium, and in the lower portion it is the ventricle, and we call it the right ventricle and the left ventricle. Okay, so heart has basically four chambers, the right two atriums and two ventricles. One is right atrium, one is left atrium. So there are ventricles, two ventricles, right ventricle and the left ventricle. So basically heart, or a human heart, we can say that human heart has four chambers, and it helps in pumping the blood to each and every part of the cell. Okay, so how does it pumps the blood through every part of the body? With the help of some blood vessels. So there are basically four main blood vessels which connect to the heart. Okay, so one by one we will discuss all these blood vessels also. So the first blood vessel which is very important in the heart is pulmonary artery. Okay, so generally what I have said earlier in the video, that arteries contain the oxygenated blood, but here it is the exception that pulmonary artery here contains the deoxygenated blood. Here you can see the pulmonary artery, and from the right atrium, when deoxygenated blood come into the right atrium, then it goes into the right ventricle, and through the right ventricle systole it comes into the pulmonary artery, and this through pulmonary artery it goes into the lungs, and again there it got the oxygenated, and again it come back into the heart. Okay, so it is the pulmonary artery. And the second one is the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein contains the, here you can see the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein contains the oxygenated blood from the heart, from the lungs to the heart. Another one is the vena cava. Here you can see the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. It contains the deoxygenated blood from all over the body parts into the heart. And the fourth blood vessel is the aorta. Aorta carries the oxygenated blood to whole part of the body. Here you can see the aorta. Aorta is being pumped by the heart as the oxygenated blood. Okay, now if we see the mechanism of blood pumping by the heart, we can say that the right auricus, if we see the mechanism behind how the blood is circulated into the whole part of the body or by the heart, we will see that the right auricus, if we see here, this is the right auricle. Okay, so this right auricle receives the deoxygenated blood from all over body parts, and through this tricuspid valve the deoxygenated blood comes into the ventricles, and when there is a systole, or we can say the contraction of the ventricles, then this blood flows into the pulmonary artery, and through pulmonary artery it goes into the lungs again for the oxygenation. Okay, this is one part of the pumping by the heart. In the second part, the oxygenated, when the pulmonary artery goes into the lungs, the deoxygenated blood converted into the oxygenated blood, and again by pulmonary vein it comes back into the left auricle, and through the bicuspid valve it comes again into the left ventricle, and by systolic contraction it again come back into the aorta and pumped to the aorta, and aorta supplies oxygenated blood to whole part of the body through capillaries, and through capillaries blood reaches each and every part of the body where the oxygen is transported to the cells, and the blood got deoxygenated, and again it is transported through vena cava into the heart. So this is all about blood circulation. That is why, and you can see here that blood comes into the heart 2 times. Okay, so that is why this kind of blood circulation is known as double circulation. Okay, so now as we have discussed the heart and its mechanism of transporting the blood, Now we are going to study one more aspect of the circulatory system, that is the open and closed type of blood circulatory system. What we have studied just now is the closed type of blood circulatory system, in which the blood or the fluid which we are talking about is pumped by the heart and it transport into closed blood vessels, arteries or veins. Okay, but there are other kind of circulatory system also, that is the open kind of circulatory system, and this open kind of circulatory system is present in lower organism, basically the invertebrates. Okay, that is the arthropods or the mollusk. They have basically this open circulatory system, and in this kind of circulatory system there is no true heart present. There are blood capillaries or the blood vessels which pumps the blood, and by pumping the blood it comes into the body sinuses. Okay, so there are no capillaries kind of thing in these organisms. Here you can see in the picture that in the open system, so there is pumping of the blood, but the blood comes into spaces or cavities in the body tissue. There are no capillaries or the arteries or the veins. Okay, so open circulatory system are basically present in arthropods and mollusks, and closed kind of circulatory system is present in basically all the chordates and annelids. Okay, you can remember it. Okay, now we are going to study about, we have studied about the heart and the open circulatory system and the closed circulatory system. Now we are going to study the invertebrates heart, and when we study the invertebrates hearts, we have earlier studied the human heart, which is a 4-chambered heart, but in lower vertebrates we are going to see what kind of heart is present in a fish, what kind of heart is present in the reptiles. So in the fishes, they are having only 2-chambered heart. Okay, so a fish heart is a 2-chambered organ composed of one atrium and one ventricle, and when the blood is pumped from the heart to the gills, where it receives oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. So it is very simple mechanism of blood transport. Okay, so fishes have 2-chambered heart because they don't need such kind of energy as humans need, because we have large body and also we have more energy needs. Okay, or also we are warm-blooded animals. Okay, because we have to maintain our body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, so we need a lot of energy to maintain this body temperature, while the invertebrates or the lower vertebrates don't need such kind of mechanism. They are basically poikilotherms or cold-blooded animals. They don't need to maintain their body temperature. That is why they have a simple mechanism of heart. Now we are going to discuss the 3-chambered heart. 3-chambered heart are basically present in the reptiles, or we can say the amphibians. Okay, so they have 3-chambered heart consisting of 2 atria and a single ventricle. Okay, so blood returning to the heart from the lungs passes into one atrium, and then it again comes into the ventricle, and the deoxygenated blood also goes to the other atrium, and again it comes into the ventricle. So there is a mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. That is why they are not such efficient blood transport system, and that is why they are not able to maintain their body temperature, and they are also known as cold-blooded animals. Okay, so as we have already discussed the 4-chambered heart, human and other mammals have 4-chambered heart. Birds, aves have also 4-chambered heart because they need rapid movement of highly oxygenated blood to the organs of the body. Okay, so this helps in their thermal regulation of the body. So now we will summarize this video of circulatory system. Circulatory system is also known as vascular system or the cardiovascular system. It consists of vessels and heart and the blood, and humans and other mammals have 4-chambered heart. The significance of circulatory system lies in its transport of nutrients, oxygen, waste materials, so that we can have an efficient body and efficient living. I hope you have understood the concept of circulatory system, and still if you have any doubts, then you can write in the comment section. I will try to reply as soon as possible. Thank you.